The Honourable Mrs. Carrie Lam Cheng Yu, the Honourable Mrs. Carrie Lam Cheng Yu, Special Administrative Region of Hong Kong, Special Administrative Region， 驻香港中央人民政府驻香港特别行政区联络办公室秘书长
All distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen,
a very good afternoon.
I wish to welcome all of you to the opening of M+, Museum of Contemporary Visual Culture in Asia. I'm Calvin Lau. It's my pleasure hosting the event for you this afternoon. 大家好，歡迎大家嚟臨。今日出席 M+ 開幕典禮，今日嘅大會開幕典禮，我係今日嘅大會司儀 The opening of the M+ Museum in the West Kowloon Cultural District has been much anticipated. Today marks a significant milestone for the West Kowloon Cultural District, paving the way for it to become one of the most cultural hubs in the world. M+ 開幕可謂萬眾期待，絕對是西九文化區另一里程碑。現在我們馬上有請西九文化區管理局唐英年先生說幾句話。唐英年先生說幾句話。May I now invite Mr. West Kowloon Cultural District Authority to give us welcoming remarks.
Chief Executive Mrs. Carrie Lam, Chief Executive Mrs. Carrie Lam, 中聯辦秘書長Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on live stream all over the world, all over the world. Good afternoon from Hong Kong. It is with great honor that I stand here to welcome you to the grand opening of M+. To the grand opening of M+. It has been many years coming. It has been many years coming. We are most proud to unveil Asia's first global museum of contemporary visual culture, stunning piece of architecture, right by the glorious Victoria Harbour. The West Kowloon Cultural District Hong Kong aims to transform the cultural capital of Asia. Its institutions are being carefully created to create a local, national, regional, international art and culture, international artistic excellence, to promote artistic excellence and to groom talent. This mission fully supports the new mission given to Hong Kong, the new mission given to Hong Kong. 14 5-year plan to become a center for cultural exchange between China and the rest of the world. And the rest of the world. The time frame of WKCD institutions span from the ancient to the past, from the ancient, the present to the past, and the future. And together, the future. They bring visitors together. The most comprehensive range of artistic perspectives, in one place. Or in one today, we have opened the art pavilion. We have opened the art pavilion, a venue dedicated to the promotion of Cantonese opera, of Cantonese intangible cultural heritage, and other genders of. Then we have free space. Then we have free center for contemporary, a center for contemporary performances and experimental performances. On the 11th hectare, many of us have enjoyed the jazz festival 2 weeks ago. Not to mention 2 weeks ago, on casual weekends, when we welcome more than 10,000 Hong Kong visitors. With the opening of M+, the first opening of museum of visual culture in Asia. Eastern and Western culture, holistic experience to visitors, performing arts, visitors, visual arts, from performing Chinese arts, visual arts, as well Chinese antiquities, as well as antiquities. Today's opening. In France and MoMA Hong Kong's M+ is now here. Hong Kong's M+ is now here. A long-awaited voice, a long-awaited voice of Asia. From the heart of Asia. In this debut today, we present to you well over 1,000 works, drawn from the M+ collection, drawn from the M+ new commissions. Along with new these will be shown in the museums. These will be shown in the museums. Many 33 galleries ingenious and show spaces. Other ingenious show spaces has been building its collection since 2012. And the exhibits are not to be missed. The exhibits are not to be missed itself. As the space. But I'll leave the introduction to the expert. I'll leave the introduction to the director, who is our museum director, to give you more details. To give you more details today. M+ opens its doors amid great change that presents fresh challenges that presents and prospects to the museum and prospects as we examine our unique our unique while embracing creative freedom. While embracing creative freedom now is more important at time is more important to look to contemporary art to look to contemporary art introspection and also projection. And also, we hope you will all support our work here. We hope you will all support our work here. Builds on Hong Kong's complex, builds on Hong Kong's identity and diverse identity. The East and West to offer a fresh cultural perspective. To offer a fresh cultural perspective era in a bold new era. M+ 博物馆开幕，也是西九文化区，也是西九文化区香港文化发展的一个重要的里程碑的一个重要的里程碑。M+ 博物馆开幕将会有助推动香港的文化艺术，也让更多年轻人可以发挥文化创意产业的艺术家和香港的艺术家。和香港的创作者提供更多国际级的展示机会。M+ 博物馆的开幕是标志着香港是贯彻落实国家规划纲要中所提出的支持香港发展中外文化艺术交流中心，是一个融汇中西文化艺术交流的平台和交流。今天的开幕。就是一个新的起点，一个新的开始，为香港发展成为国家中外文化艺术中心交流中心这个地位的奠下稳固的基础。谢谢大家，谢谢大家。Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tang. Please be seated. 现在有请今天活动的主礼嘉宾，香港特别行政区行政长官林郑月娥女士致辞。May we now invite our guest of honor, Mrs. Carrie Lam, Chief Executive of Hong Kong's Special Administrative Region, to address us.
黃宗淼秘書長、唐英年主席、夏佳理副主席、羅仲榮主席、Dr. Ulisik。各位西九文化區管理局董事局嘅成員、各位嘉賓、各位朋友，歡迎大家出席西九文化區 M+ 博物館嘅盛大開幕典禮，一齊見證呢個香港有史以嚟最大型文化建設嘅重要里程碑。作為前後15年喺唔同嘅崗位參與西九文化區發展嘅官員，我今日嘅喜悅實在好難用幾句話嚟到去形容。西九文化區係特區政府支持香港文化藝術長遠發展嘅重大投資。由於佔用咗40公頃珍貴嘅臨海土地，並涉及龐大嘅公共開支，喺過程中難免係受到質疑，甚至引起咗一啲嘅批評。但係我同好多政府內外一直致力推動西九文化區建設嘅人都相信，香港嘅優勢唔限於作為國際金融、商貿、航運中心，而香港嘅新未來亦都唔應該只係喺發展國際創新科技中心。香港擁有中西文化薈萃嘅優勢，同埋廣闊嘅國際網絡，多年嚟匯聚海內外同埋本地嘅優秀人才，大有條件發展成為中外文化藝術交流中心，並將傳承千載嘅優秀中華文化帶向世界，展示國家嘅軟實力。今年3月，國家通過《14五規劃綱要》，明確支持香港發展成為中外文化藝術交流中心，係對香港文化藝術地位嘅最大肯定，同埋對香港文化界協力推動未來發展嘅最大鼓舞。西九文化區已經投入服務市民幾年，我好高興見到喺2019年啟用嘅戲曲中心同埋自由空間，為本港同埋國際藝術家提供不可多得嘅頂級表演場地，而西九藝術公園嘅海濱更加已經成為香港人一家大細嘅休閒好去處。早前舉辦嘅戶外展覽同埋自由爵士音樂節大受歡迎。每次我喺港島嘅北岸遠眺西九文化區，都強烈感到3座具有標誌性嘅建築物，即係戲曲中心、M+ 博物館同埋香港故宮文化博物館，為維港都會區增添風采，令人對香港嘅文化藝術發展充滿期盼。今日正式開幕嘅 M+ 博物館，更加係本地同埋國際視野藝術界期待已久嘅旗艦項目。M+ 博物館係一所立足香港、背靠祖國、服務世界嘅當代視覺文化博物館。佢嘅規模喺亞洲係首屈一指嘅，全置同埋展示涵蓋香港、內地、亞洲以至到其他地區嘅視覺文化館藏，擁有世界上其中一個規模最大、最全面中國當代藝術館藏嘅稀刻藏品，講述中國當代藝術喺過去40年嘅發展歷程。部分將喺開幕主題展覽中展出。另一個主題展覽係介紹香港獨特視覺文化嘅香港此地彼方，從多角度展示社會文化變遷同埋香港藝術家、建築師、設計師同埋電影工作者嘅創意。展品亦都係包括本地大師呂壽琨嘅水墨作品。 其他展覽包括探討國際設計同埋建築嘅物件空間互動，探討國際視覺藝術嘅個體源流表現，以及由著名嘅英國雕塑家 Anthony Gormley 聯同超過300位廣東村民製作嘅大型裝置藝術。博物館最重要嘅使命係以專業、客觀同埋持平嘅態度，提供一個開放、包容同埋互相尊重嘅平台，充分體現同埋發展博物館收藏、保存、研究、展覽同埋教育嘅多元功能。而一如 M+ 館藏嘅當代藝術，佢所代表嘅係藝術家喺唔同時代背景下嘅創作同埋歷程。唔同嘅人或許會有唔同嘅體會同埋感受。我期望觀賞者聚焦作品本身，以開放嘅態度看待呢啲作品。早喺開幕前 M+ 已經一直透過本地同埋海外嘅展覽及活動，加深公眾同埋藝術界對於當代藝術同埋 M+ 嘅認識。例如 M+ 同香港藝術發展局自2013年起就4度合辦備受讚譽嘅威尼斯雙年展香港展覽，係香港立足國際藝術界嘅一個重要舉措。M+ 亦喺2018年設立希克獎，表彰大中華地區傑出嘅當代藝術家，促進國際上關於中國當代藝術嘅良性討論。我藉此機會向希克博士嘅捐贈同埋多年嚟對於 M+ 博物館嘅支持表示由衷嘅感謝。M+ 博物館嘅建築物本身就係一件具開放同埋包容特徵嘅藝術品。我喺2015年 M+ 博物館嘅動土典禮上就講過 M+ 大樓日後將會成為維港海旁眾多摩天大廈之中嘅一個嶄新地標。M+ 博物館大樓由國際著名建築師事務所 Herzog and de Meuron 團隊設計，喺全球80多個世界級團隊參加嘅設計比賽中脫穎而出。大樓氣勢宏偉，設計匠心獨運，等訪客零距離咁感受到維港嘅日夜美景。我深信 M+ 大樓日後將出現喺各大推廣香港嘅宣傳品中，成為國際視覺藝術嘅重要一員。展望不久將來，隨住預計喺明年中開幕嘅香港故宮文化博物館落成啟用，連同早前擴建翻新之後，屬於康樂及文化事務署管理嘅香港藝術館，維港海濱將出現3座各具特色嘅頂級博物館，成就香港擁有一個世界級視覺藝術嘅博物館群。呢3座博物館將充分展現香港中外文化薈萃、充滿活力嘅多元文化。我期望下屆政府會透過成立文化、體育及旅遊局，提升頂層設計同埋領導，善用香港獨一無二嘅優勢，積極引進來、帶出去，推動中外文明對話同埋交流，努力將香港發展為世界各地文化機構互動同埋合作嘅平台。回顧西九文化區同埋 M+ 博物館，經過10多年嘅規劃同埋發展過程中，的確係遇上好多波折。但我哋需謹記，羅馬唔係一日建成嘅。我喺呢度必須特別感謝 Henry 唐英年先生4年前喺我力邀之下重掌西九文化區管理局董事局一職，為西九作出重大貢獻。另一位有重大貢獻嘅人物，當然係喺我擔任主席期間同我並肩作戰嘅副主席夏佳理先生。我亦都要感謝羅仲榮先生，從項目嘅構思到逐步實現，對 M+ 博物館不離不棄。對於為 M+ 博物館盡心盡力嘅建築團隊同埋策展團隊，我對你哋嘅不懈努力同埋全程投入表示充分肯定。我亦都要感謝各界朋友 包括藝術家、收藏家同埋贊助人一直以嚟嘅大力支持。Let me now say a few words in English. It gives me great pleasure today to witness the grand opening of M+. With construction commenced in 2015, the M+ building has encountered various challenges. But Rome was not built in a day. Standing in this iconic building overlooking another icon of Hong Kong, the Victoria Harbour, I think is worth the wait. The West Kowloon Cultural District is an unprecedented investment of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region government in arts and culture. Sitting on a 40-hectare prime waterfront site, it is developed as an integrated district with world-class arts and cultural facilities. The district started operation in 2019 with the opening of performing arts venue of Free Space and the Xixu Center for Chinese Opera, and a modest arts pavilion for visual arts. With the grand opening of M+, Hong Kong's new museum for visual arts and culture, not only will the West Kowloon Cultural District welcome a key new member, but Hong Kong will be on par with cities like London and New York with a sizable and significant contemporary arts museum. Indeed, before its opening, M+ has, in conjunction with the Hong Kong Arts Development Council, been participating in the Venice Biennale since 2013. I was there in 2015 in my capacity as the Chief Secretary for Administration, come Chairman of the Board of the West Kowloon Cultural District Authority. At that time, I could already tell from the arts sector's response that M+ was much anticipated. That interest on M+ would not have been possible without the staunch support from our friends, donors, and patrons. First and foremost, I must express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Uli Sik for his generous donation of artworks to M+ in 2012. The M+ Sik collection is a solid foundation of M+ visual arts collection. It also signifies an important vote of confidence in M+ in its early years of establishment. And I must also express my sincere appreciation to the renowned Swiss architectural firm Herzog & de Meuron, whom I have worked with for a second time, the first being the conservation of the Central Police Station compound, now Dai Gun Center for Heritage and Arts. I still remember Jacques and Pierre sharing with me their mission of creating buildings that are welcomed by the local community. And I have no doubt that M+ building will meet this goal with flying colors. It's a great pity that Jacques, Pierre, and Askan could not be here with us because of our stringent quarantine requirements. I would like to pay tribute also to TFP Faros and OV Arab and Partners Hong Kong for presenting this spectacular landmark to the people of Hong Kong, and to Sohanya, whom I first met in Sydney, M+ Museum Director, for her tireless efforts all these years. I'm sure the podium of M+, which houses a public roof garden against the backdrop of the stunning cityscape and skyline of Hong Kong, as well as the striking media facade, will become yet another must-visit attraction for both local and overseas visitors. My government's ambitions in arts development are not confined to the West Kowloon Cultural District. Beyond this district, Hong Kong has been featuring the world-renowned Art Basel since 2013, with over 100 prominent galleries participating from all over the world every year. Art Central showcases avant-garde work by emerging artists from over 100 contemporary arts galleries annually. International art galleries and reputed artists continue to expand their presence in Hong Kong. And our art trading industry is booming in recent years. For example, in 2020, Hong Kong became the second largest art trading center in the world, after only New York. Under the one country, two systems policy, and the explicit support of our positioning as an East meets West Center for International Cultural Exchange in the nation's 14th five-year plan, promulgated in March this year, Hong Kong will continue to thrive as an international cultural hub. My government will continue to roll out policies and measures to develop facilities, nurture talents, and establish international and mainland collaboration. As the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, I sincerely welcome visitors from all over the world to come to Hong Kong once COVID-19 is under control and visit the M+ Museum to immerse themselves in the extraordinary cultural experience that embraces the best of both the East and the West. Finally, I hope you will enjoy the exhibitions and have a very memorable day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Lam. Please be seated. M+ 由構思、概念去到建築嘅設計，其實有無數咁多人為咗呢一座世界級嘅博物館嘅誕生咧，付出過不少功勞嘅。呢個時候，我哋有請由頭到尾一路見證住 M+ 誕生嘅 M+ 董事局主席羅仲榮先生向大家致辭。To express gratitude to those who has contributed to making this long-sought dream a reality, may I now invite Mr. Victor Low, Chairman of the M+ Board, to address us.
Mrs. Carrie Lam, Wang Songmiao, 秘书长, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. 15 years ago, in 2006, I was appointed by the government as the convener of a newly formed museum advisory group. It was under the consultative committee on the core arts and cultural facilities of the West Kowloon Cultural District. The mission was to discuss and propose what type of museum we would want for the district. We literally started with a blank piece of paper. And through almost a years of very intensive deliberation, towards the end of 2006, we published the report and proposed the bold concept of a museum of visual culture, M+. A most frequently asked question is, how did we come up with the name of M+? The truth is, at the end of 2006, just a few weeks before we had to publish our report, our group, even after weeks of debate, could not agree on the name of the museum. So as the convener, I proposed to put Museum Plus on the cover of the report, only as a working title. But much to our surprise, when the report came out, people loved the name so much, so we didn't need to look for a name anymore. M+ it is. The name of M+ conveyed our ambition to create an important cultural institution, more than a conventional museum. When people hear the name museum, they typically think of a grand building with lots of valuable art inside. But we wanted to do much more. We wanted to go deep into scholarship, research, and education. And we wanted our activities and our impact to go way beyond the building. So we thought a concept like M+ would be very appropriate as a brand new 21st century cultural institution in Asia. M+ has been many years in the making and will be serving and inspiring the public for generations to come. It has embodied the cultural fluidity that makes the city unique. Leading museums of comparable scale in the world have well demonstrated how cultural institutions can transform and improve the surroundings and the city at large. From tomorrow onwards, M+ will be integrated into the everyday life of Hong Kong people. The true measure of this institution's success will be on its influence on the community's embrace of arts and culture, which has grown in prominence in the past couple of decades, and also on its vital contribution to social well-being, in addition to economic growth and cultural exchange. On behalf of the M+ board, I'd like to express our heartfelt gratitude to the Hong Kong SAR government and our Chief Executive, Mrs. Carrie Lam, for their vision and unwavering support. I would also like to thank the past and present WKCDA board, M+ board, and committees, and the original Museum Advisory Group back in 2006. Of course, we need to thank the architects of the M+ building, Herzog and de Meuron, along with TFP, Farrows, and Arup. The Herzog de Meuron team, under the leadership of Jacques and Pierre, have been a total delight to work with. Not only are they world-class architects, but their passion for arts and culture, it's unbelievable. And we also like to thank Dr. Uli Sik. Uli's early commitment to donate a major collection of contemporary Chinese art to M+ gave us a really big kickstart in the beginning and made our journey much easier. We also like to thank all the artists and makers, donors, and patrons. And we are thankful to our inaugural M+ director, Lars Nidver, and our current museum director, Suhanya Raphael, and also former WKCDA CEOs and Mrs. Betty Fong for their leadership. Last but not least, I'd like to extend my deepest gratitude to all the M+ staff led by Suhanya, Dorian Chong, Veronica Castillo, and John Wicks, as well as the WKCDA management team, for their dedication and hard work over the years to make our dream come true. Our M+ team is about 250 strong today, and they come from 27 countries, but 80% of them are local. They are young, they're energetic, and they're totally committing and faithful to this project. We so look forward to the moment tomorrow morning when we open doors to the public and invite them into this world-class museum, our M+. And we are confident M+ will become a pride of Hong Kong. Thank you, and we hope you will enjoy the museum as much as we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Low. Please be seated. The M+ was designed by the world-renowned architecture practice Herzog and de Meuron in partnership with TFP Farrows and Arup. While Mr. Jacques Herzog is unable to attend the opening ceremony today in person, he and his team have actually sent us a congratulatory message all the way from Switzerland. M 家大樓咧，其實係由建築師事務所 Herzog and de Meuron 率領 TFP Farrows 同埋奧雅納工程顧問設計共同設計嘅。雖然咧 Mr. Jacques、Pierre 同埋佢哋嘅團隊今日未能夠親身嚟到香港咧出席我哋今日嘅開幕典禮，但係佢同佢嘅團隊亦都錄咗一啲嘅説話，希望借住呢個機會同大家分享，我哋一齊睇睇。
This building expresses a vision for a new institution for visual culture and art, for Hong Kong and for the whole world. Rooted in the ground, deep in the ground, above a very busy train tunnel, it rises up towards the sky with its face towards Hong Kong. It will speak the powerful yet poetic language of art. It was my greatest pleasure to develop that vision and work on its architecture in the last 9 years. Thank you all who supported us and helped us make literally that dream come true. I so hope to see you very soon in Hong Kong and celebrate this amazing moment.
What a pity not to be able to be with you today in Hong Kong and to share this fantastic, this one-of-a-kind moment of the opening of M+ Museum. I'd like to thank you, Carrie Lam. I'd like to thank you, Henry Tang. I'd like to thank you, Duncan Prescott. I'd like to thank you, Betty Fong, and I'd like to thank you, Victor Low, and all the other partakers in this incredible journey. Without you, it would have been impossible. It would have been impossible to achieve what was at the beginning the goal and what to complete this one-of-a-kind project. No doubt this is a shared success. This museum will be a place where people go to meet each other and to have collective moments with each other. M+ will be a beacon for Hong Kong, for China, for Asia, and I think also for the whole world.
I would like to make a special mention for our local Hong Kong partners, Farrell's Arab and our local Herston and Dumeron team, with whom we had altogether an excellent collaboration over this last amazing 9 years. And as a team, we were able to find solutions and to help to steer the project through stormy waters when we were facing challenges. The result is an outstanding building. As you can see, it will speak for itself.
Working on the M+ was a wonderful and most rewarding journey, from the very first workshops during the design competition in Hong Kong to the many meetings and design charrettes in Basel and Hong Kong, to the most recent online meetings just to resolve the last outstanding issues. A big thank you to the entire M+ team, past and present, for this inspiring collaboration, dialogue and exchange. Especially Lars Nitwe, Sohanya Raphael, Tobias Berger and Dorian Zhang have been fundamental in developing the vision and design for the M+. It was our close relationship and mutual trust that made this fantastic outcome possible. We very much look forward to visiting the building in person and to see it active, filled with people and art.
We're all very proud to say M+ is more than a building and is more than just a museum. Let's invite Mr. Hanya Raphael, Museum Director of M+, to tell us what visitors will experience here. 而家我哋有請 M+ 博物館館長華安雅女士，為我哋簡單介紹一下令人期待嘅 M+。
Thank you. Finally, I get the last word. It is momentous to be here to see the dawning of a new era for Hong Kong's cultural world with the opening of our museum. A global museum of visual culture like no other in Asia, and now we take our place with the world's great cultural institutions. I must thank the vision of our Chief Executive and former Chairman of the WKCDA Board, Kerry Lam, current WKCDA Chairman, Henry Tang, and M+ Board Chairman Victor Loh, who have together with the boards and committee members shepherded this project and this museum for so many years. What an achievement. That too, thanks to must go to former CEOs Michael Lynch and Duncan Pescott and our new CEO Betty Fung. And I thank and acknowledge the work of Lars Nitwe, the founding director of M+. Working together with the architects at Herzog de Meuron through the joint venture of TFP Farrell's and Arab has been a remarkable experience. And for all of us at M+, we feel immensely proud to deliver a magnificent building married to an inspired vision. Thanks too go to the M+ staff and WKCDA staff, who are the most committed, talented and sustaining colleagues I have had the privilege to work with. A museum is not a museum without its collections, and great museums are defined by great collections. We are building a unique collection, the first framed by an Asian vision, situated in Hong Kong with a local base and a global reach. We want to redefine the canons, write new understandings, show, interpret, and explain the depth, vibrancy, and brilliance of artists, designers, architects, and moving image makers in a way no one has before. M+ has been supported by visionary donors, beginning with Dr. Uli Sig, who have journeyed with us to build the substantial collections that are now on display across the entire breadth of the institution. All 6 opening exhibitions are drawn from our collections, and each adds substantially to new knowledge of visual culture. Hong Kong, Here and Beyond, presents our city's celebrated art, architecture, design and cinema from the 1960s to now, and explores what makes Hong Kong such a unique place. In M+SIG collection, From Revolution to Globalization, we see 4 decades, from 1970 to 2012, of contemporary Chinese art drawn from the most celebrated and comprehensive collection of this period in the world. This exhibition traces this extraordinary journey, looks at how international audiences have come to understand China today, and captures the bold generation of artists who defined the contemporary Chinese experience. The third exhibition, Things, Spaces, Interactions, showcases design and architecture from Asia and beyond, and tells the story of how our societies in this region have built and how design shapes identities and imagines the future. Next, in Individuals, Networks, Expressions, you will see an expansive story of art from the 1950s to now, and at its core, we present how artists have created their own visions amid the rise of contemporary Asian art on the world stage. Then, in the dream of the museum, you will experience a global constellation of art at the heart of M+'s unique Asian context. And last, not least, we bring you Anthony Gormley's Asian Field, a single monumental work by this British artist where you will encounter a sea of clay figures made by residents from Guangdong. Of course, M+ is far more than these exhibitions, as we engage with the city and beyond. We offer a vital resource to our communities. We are a destination, and we are building the cultural capital of Hong Kong. We are bridging the cultural worlds of East and West. We have already reached well over 1.5 million people through our multifaceted education programs, digital engagement, and scholarly symposia. We have shared our unique collections across the most eminent institutions in the world, a recognition of the significance of our holdings. And we have done all this, and we only open our building tomorrow. And now we are ensuring that the power of our plus is visible to all as we bring and build a great civic institution that is a place of inspiration. I invite you to our museum to share our vision, our voice, our passion, and welcome you to enjoy the riches of this long-awaited and remarkable institution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fell. Please be seated. What an amazing, enlightening introduction. So without further ado, it's finally the time for the long-awaited ribbon-cutting ceremony. 现在我们将进行一个简单而隆重的剪彩仪式. I'd like to invite all officiating guests to join us on stage. First up, we have Chief Executive of HKSAR, Mrs. Carrie Lam. Zhong Lian Ban 秘书长王松苗先生. Mr. Henry Tang, Chairman of WKCDA Board. Mr. Lee Ka-Chiu, Chief Secretary for Administration of HKSAR. Mr. Victor Lo, Chairman of M+ Board. Mr. Ronald Wakuli, Vice Chairman of WKCDA Board. Mr. Casper Tsui, Secretary for Home Affairs. Mrs. Betty Fong, Chief Executive Officer of WKCDA. And Mr. Hanya Rafael, Museum Director of M+. 喺我哋正式剪彩之前，亦都要將金鉸剪交到去我哋咁多位嘅主禮嘉賓手上。在我们正式剪彩之前，我们将邀请所有的主礼嘉宾一起看看我们前面大會攝影師嘅鏡頭，嚟一張大合影。呢個時候咧，亦都煩請咁多位嘅主禮嘉賓手持你哋前面嘅彩帶，之後望望我哋前面大會攝影師嘅鏡頭嚟一張大合照。 我哋準備好，我哋一齊數3聲好冇啊？ For all officiating guests on stage, on a count of 3, would you please cut the ribbon? Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. The first Global Museum of Contemporary Visual Culture in Asia, M+, is now officially open. 亞洲第一間全球當代視覺文化博物館 M+ 正式開幕。 At this time, would all officiating guests please remain on stage? We're going to take a group photo again together. Take a look at the photographers in the front. Especially memorable day for everyone. 亦都望望前面大會攝影師嘅鏡頭，再嚟一張大合照。 Would our guests please be seated？ 請各位來賓就座。而喺呢個咁值得我哋紀念嘅大日子咧，亦都等我哋喺大台階上邊所有今日參加我哋開幕典禮嘅嘉賓一齊嚟一張大合照嚇。大家咧就要望望我哋台上面咁多位嘅大會攝影師，準備好我哋望望前面，將呢個非常之值得紀念嘅日子 影低嚟。Let's take a group photo together with all the other guests on the grandstairs, which you're right now situated at. Absolutely lovely. Please give yourself a round of applause. Thank you very much. Now we've come to the end of our opening ceremony. Thank you very much for watching the live broadcast of M+ opening ceremony. And thank you.
Welcome to M+. We're in Hong Kong and we're about to open Hong Kong's first global museum of visual culture on the 12th of November. And you are about to see a sneak preview of what we have in our galleries and the great facilities and resources available to all of you. We are now in the main hall, our public gathering space in the central part of the museum, a quintessential Herzog de Meuron space designed for M+, using the muscular structures of concrete and terracotta, internal and outside you will see it, but also the bamboo used for our furniture right throughout the museum, very sustainable material. It is also a space where we commission artists to make work, including digital artists. And we have right behind me now an amazing patrons wall designed by Japanese digital designer, very eminent, Nakamura Yugo-san. Another important architectural feature of the main hall are the two light wells that sit on either side of the tower, bringing beautiful natural light right into this large open space. But we also use the structural columns for our artwork commissions. And right now you can see the magnificent paintings made by Taiwanese ink artist, senior artist Dong Yan-tse, inspired by the I Ching. I'm standing in the center of the main hall. And as you can see, there is a major, beautiful aperture, a cutaway that brings in the natural light from the light wells all the way down through to the found space. The found space is named because it was a space that was found by the architects when they were preparing the museum, because the metro lines, the two lines for the Tung Chung line and the Airport Expressway go diagonally through the museum, and this concrete shelf covers those tunnels. The first exhibition spaces that our audiences will encounter here on the main hall is the main hall gallery, and we decided that we would fill it with our Hong Kong collection. So as you can see, Hong Kong Here and Beyond is the title of this exhibition as we walk through a set of doors and encounter the first work of art, another set of doors, emblematic of welcoming you all into the space. The work is by King of Kowloon, the great calligrapher, who used the spaces of Hong Kong as his canvas and would spontaneously make work across the city. M+ commissioned the Hong Kong architect and designer Gary Chan to make a one-to-one model of his home, his flat, and domestic transformer is the result. In a very tight space, 34 square meters, very familiar to all of us who live in Hong Kong, these tight spaces really improve with very good design. Movable walls that allow the space to expand and contract as needed. His bed, his kitchen, his television, his bath. Behind me, you can see the exact replica of the view from his window. Welcome to the M+ Learning Hub. We've moved from the grand, open, cathedral-like space of the main hall right into the intimacy of a house of learning. Learning, of course, takes place right throughout the museum, but in the Learning Hub, our principle for learning is experimentation, play, and activity. It's a dynamic space working with artists, architects, designers as our teachers, and with a philosophy of lifelong learning from young all the way through. Importantly for us, the Learning Hub is also a space of movement, of the ability to be very open-ended and experimental with workshops, wet spaces, but also the ability to do multiple languages. The forum space, of course, is an incredible space, and you will see the view out into Hong Kong as well as being one of the revelations and the gifts of learning in our particular architecture here at the Learning Hub. At the base of our conservation and storage facility is a display area, which is open display, a working space of conservation and exhibition making for public to view from the outside. It is a working space, it is a research space, it will be a place where workshops will take place, where research is understood and applied to conservation. And we will open with looking at our neon signs, a very important part of our Hong Kong visual culture collections that need a lot of conservation work. And you will be able to see what that means over a period of a year.
Welcome to the second floor. This is where most of our 33 galleries are located. It is a radically horizontal space. It runs 110 meters this way, 130 meters this way, which is equivalent to 2 football fields put together. I'm standing in the central atrium. From here, our audiences will be directed to 4 quadrants. There's West Gallery, North Galleries, also known as the SIG Galleries, our South Galleries, and East Galleries. They range from 1,500 to 2,500 square meters and laid out in different configurations. In SIG Galleries, we have From Revolution to Globalization, our first presentation from the M+ SIG collection of Chinese contemporary art. Behind me in East Galleries, we have things, spaces, interactions showcasing our international design and architecture collection. South Galleries is showing individuals, networks, expressions, highlighting our international visual art collection. Now I'm entering West Gallery, which is showing the most monumental work from the M+ collection, and that's Asian Field by Anthony Gormley. Gormley came to China in 2003 to realize a dream project. He found a village in Guangdong province and worked with 300 villagers to create over 200,000 clay figurines in the span of 1 week. This is the first time that this work is shown since 2003. We worked very closely with a group of about 20 art students to install this work over 3 weeks. Our audiences can stand in front of this sea of figurines, and that experience is like facing the whole of humanity. I'm standing in the Grand Stair, one of the most extraordinary features of this iconic building. It's an open auditorium that can sit up to 400 people. And as you can see behind me, it is equipped with a large LED screen. It measures 5 meters high, 10 meters across, and it's on a hoisting structure that positions the screen high up, like as it is now, in a cinematic mode, or it can be lower, closer to the floor in a lecture mode with the curtains drawn. Under the Grand Stair are our 3 cinema houses that can seat 180, 60, and 40 people. And these cinema houses are also equipped with various formats, including 35 millimeters, 16 millimeters, and digital. Under the Grand Stair is Mediatek, our library of the museum's moving image collection. It has the capacity of 40. It's equipped with booths for single viewing as well as seats for multiple people. And this is where you can watch our moving image collection on demand. We're in the courtyard galleries, which are one of the unique spaces in the M+ building. As you can see, these galleries are cladded completely in bamboo on the floors, on the walls, and on the ceilings. For the inauguration, what we decided to do is to make a jewel box-like exhibition that is a self-reflection on the significance of building a 21st century global museum in and for Asia. And we wanted to tell this story through the conceptual practices within the M+ collection. In the first gallery, we have 4 foundational figures who are Marcel Duchamp, John Cage, Nam June Paik, and Yoko Ono. These 4 figures had very close personal as well as professional relationships, and altogether they formed and represented the East-West connection and is at the core of this exhibition. As we walk into the next gallery, we see a broader constellation of practices from more different contexts and times and geographies. In the first space, as you walk in, you may think that you have entered a space of traditional Asian art. But in fact, each of these works, each of these practices is very much rooted in the foundational conceptual ideas of chance and ready-made. As we walk into the next space, we see some other examples of conceptual practices. For instance, we see another work by Yoko Ono, which is a white chess set, an homage to none other than John Cage, a very important mentor as well as a friend to the artist herself. This work is resonating with a performative work by Morimura Yasumasa, where the artist is recreating performatively the historic event where Marcel Duchamp played the chess with a nude young woman. We also have an example of 1987 work by Huang Yongping in those dawn years of Chinese contemporary art, where he created a work that was inspired by and is also an homage to none other than Marcel Duchamp. In the rest of the galleries, we have even more far-flung places and practices. We have figures such as Gabriel Orozco, Ricri Tervanit, Etel Adnan, and Yambo.
Welcome to the M+ rooftop garden. This is a public open space and sits on top of our galleries that sit on either side of our tower. A tower that houses our LED screen, 66 meters high by 110 meters across, a program space, a space for our creative makers that we will commission. In a city full of commercial moving images, we feel absolutely committed to bringing creative content. And in a space that is full of beautiful plants and garden, while enjoying the view of Hong Kong Island, the quintessential view of Hong Kong Island from this very, very beautiful podium.